Nation and mining family. Crypto Nation and mining family. What's going on? Of course, like always, it's not financial advice. Yo, Crypto Nation and mining family, what's going on? Yo! So, got a few interesting tidbits to go up over today. Some of them interesting, some of them not such a good idea. So, let's kind of dig into it, guys. So, you don't see me do this too much, but I actually kind of like this. You know, how Coin360 just kind of lays out onto the green screen. If you guys ever wonder how to do this for your videos or whatever, I do have a video on how to play with the green screen. To get it to look really nice and all that good stuff. But yep, you can see Bitcoin here has slid down a little bit here. You know, I don't usually talk about price action, but what I do notice whenever I see price action start going down, as a miner, you're mining the dips. So when you mine the dips, the energy you put out goes further. Boom, that is awesome stuff, right? And I rarely pull any charts up or anything, and yes, I do a little charting here and there, and I more or less chart to see when I should do trades for that busy bit. You know, trading that shit coins for that Bitcoin. But you can see that I was sitting here charting out a lot of these right as they were happening. Like whenever I saw the candle shoot up, I knew that we hit the top of the channel. I drew another line and we just kind of bounced right in there. I drew this one down, but if you see, whenever I scroll in here, these nice little ribbons here, these are the EMA ribbons. It's got a few other nice little tidbits on here. If you guys ever want to check out this stuff, this is the DCA script. I'll show it over a little bit. It's some of the reason why I'm showing it. So this is DCA script. You can always go on to DCA Adventure on YouTube. It's one of the other channels that I'm involved with. And you can see my man Jay, who made this script. So he made the script that overlays on the actual chart itself. And then he made the script for all of this, and he goes through and explains what it all is about. And if you guys want to utilize some of his tools, because it's not none of these things will tell you the future. They're tools. Helps you kind of confirm or deny what you're thinking. So boom. So some of the cool stuff. I mean, I knew it was going to come up here. I was actually thinking it was going to play back into the channel and kind of pop out a little bit later on. So it kind of took me by a little surprise that it popped a little bit earlier than I was kind of predicting. But you know, if this is the beginning of a bull run, this will be the first real significant bull run I have seen for a while. I mean, I've only been in the market for a couple of years, so I've seen Bitcoin come off its crazy bull run and come back down, but I haven't seen it go from the bottom coming back, reaching back up. I don't want to see it go parabolic, because anything that goes straight up, it's going to correct in a dramatic way. Unless there's fundamentals that hold it there, that'll be a different discussion in itself then. But going into some of the stuff that I enjoy a little bit more. Boom. Man, I love this green screen. It's kind of cool. It's like anything that's on my monitor is behind me. Oh, so cool. So it looks like Cypherpunk 2077 got a hold of NVIDIA GeForce and was like, come on, you want to make a limited edition for our game, don't you? Cypherpunk 2077. And he's like, oh, come on, don't tell us you haven't thought about it. And they just replied with, stay tuned. So it looks like there might be hopefully like a 2080 Ti that's like a special edition. Now, I don't think it'll do anything special, so it's just going to be the casing on. It'll be different cooler, marketing scheme. It'll be cool to look at, but at the end of the day, it'll probably still be just a 2080 Ti. So don't get too, if you're wanting to get a theme going on, sure. Not all of these graphics cards hold their value long term. So just kind of keep that in mind that but it's kind of cool if, I kind of like the little partnerships. It's like, ooh, that's kind of cool. I like the game. Cypherpunk is a pretty cool game. It depending on which model that they're planning on releasing it on, but it'll probably be like a 2080 Super, or dude, it'd be cool if it was like a new TI model. But time will tell. Time will tell. It's just leaks at this point. Nothing confirmed, right? And then Comet Lake is Intel is coming out with their Comet Lake S10 core, 2.5 gigahertz. Probably be able to overclock it, hopefully to like 3 gigahertz. Get some good performance off of it. It is not going to be in their what is it, the K series or whatever it is. So yeah, it's a non-K variant, so it's going to have a little bit of a less wattage cap on there. So it's going to be a 65 watt CPU. So it's going to be a lowered performance on there. The K series was at 125 watts. So if you were gaming with it or rendering, streaming with it, you'd want the K series on this. If you're using it for running like an FPGA, you're probably going to want the K series too, so that you've got the higher reach on the CPU. Just some of the little information that I've been kind of looking into what I want to run with my FPGAs that would be optimal. So I'm thinking I'm going to be testing out on one of my H110 Mining Pros. I'm just going to put an i7 in there and just let it rip, see what happens. Okay. Oh yeah, right. The next one, I know a few people, I know I've covered it like before in the past. I was like, guys, anybody who bought the 1650, first off, I told everybody to leave that one alone. It had the GDDR5 on there, and I was like, dude, this is them blowing out old inventory, and which in the long run it's like you're just helping them get rid of some old stuff instead of them giving you the better memory on there, which they should have done right off the bat. Now that they're done with the GDDR5, now they're releasing it with the GDDR6. So it's not going to give you any real significant huge performance. It's like it's still going to be the 1650 at the end of the day. You're just getting better VRAM on there, which also, if you're sitting there and you're like doing VR or something like that, it's going to run a little bit better with the GDDR6 in there. And like mining something with a DAG file, this will benefit with if you're sitting there and mining with it. Would it be the one that I'd be going with? Oh no. Myself, I'm still happy with the choice that whenever I bought the 1660 Ti, I'm very happy with that one. It's got good performance on there, very stable card, reacts similar to my 1070. Just think about that. It responds like my 1070. So that in itself is shows that there was a replacement for the 1070 that they obsoleted. Like I was saying, one of these cards had to be the replacement to it. The only thing that I wish it had an option for was 8 gigabytes of RAM on there. That, you know, instead of 6 gigabytes. But the board's got room for making it an 8 gigabytes of DDR6 with on the 1660 Ti platform. So, but I have not seen any extra SKUs coming in saying that they're patenting anything extra for the 1660 Ti. If they were to bring it out at this point, I actually wouldn't be mad at them. Knowing that I was an early adopter, I wouldn't be mad at the point that, because it's not like I had old technology like the 1650 does, with it finally getting the GDDR6 and being welcomed into it the rest of the 1600 series graphics cards. So yay! I feel bad for anybody that bought the old technology stuff in there. I hope none of you did and heeded my warning on there. This is now at the price that it's at, worth it for a very, very, very budget build. So boom. And then the last but not least, kind of go onto my little bit of a rant on this one. So the U.S. Department of Justice calls Bitcoin mixing a crime. In arrest of a software developer. Software developer of Coin Ninja, right? Which one was it? So, yeah, Coin Ninja CEO. That they're basically saying that he was laundering over 300 million from Alphabet. I think it's just because this protocol had a particular person that they can sit there and point their fingers at and was like, man, I don't know who did all that laundering, but this guy's got face, and he's a CEO, and he let this happen. He's the bad guy, right? So now he's being persecuted for this. It's like the guy that sat there, and makes the Silk Road. If he's just making a place for people to transact freely with no censorship, are you really the bad guy if somebody else is doing it and you're like, hey, I've got no control over it? That'd be censorship, and that's not what I'm here for. Here's this guy. He's basically the same way, where he's just like, I'm gonna make your transactions private for you. The government should see the fact of when I make my money. They should see the fact of when I go spend it, because I'm basically paying bills with it, right? So every bit of this is taxed events. I've already paid my taxes, basically, so at this point it doesn't matter if I'm buying something, and I'm not saying anything illegal, but whether I'm buying computer parts or something like that. Does the government really need to be all up in my business knowing that I'm buying computer parts? I mean, realistically, at the end of the day, I'm a criminal because I want my transactions to be a little anonymous. Am I averting any kind of taxes on it in any way, shape, or form? Oh, no. So if I buy a ASIC miner, I can do that completely anonymously. even right now, even if they sat there and said, hey, mixers are all illegal, there's still plenty of ways to stay anonymous. You have to go through extra hoops on doing it, yes. But if I sit there and I order something from Bitmain and it gets shipped to me, before I can pick it up from the post office, there's a third 28% tax on there, sitting there, waiting for me to go pick this device up. So no matter what, I mean, if I'm buying something, I'm still getting taxed on it. So it's not like they can sit there and say, oh, I'm laundering money myself, so I should not be able to use it. I think they're trying to go, because of these few individuals, we're going to make it all illegal. Well, people have been doing illegal activities, laundering money through the banks, and nobody has stopped this in the slightest bit. At this point, I would like to actually see somebody make a protocol that'll do a mixer that cannot be stopped at. Once you turn the protocol on, there is nothing anybody can do from there on out. And basically, it's all, and let the developers be completely anonymous. Yeah, that would, and heck, even if your code was good enough, you should be able to make it open source so people can sit there and try to poke holes at it, and there ain't nothing they can do about it, and they'll be able to see it right there. A true decentralized application. Instead of, that's some of the reasons why Bitcoin has been able to survive also, is that there's nobody that the government can go, Bitcoin, oh, that's you, right? So you're not going to see anything like that coming out of, Bitcoin or any other truly anonymous coin. If there is no developers, it's just a bunch of people that'll submit code here and there to the chain. And they've got no control over it, because all it takes is one wallet and one miner, and the system the system will actually always be there. That's one thing I love about proof of work. So one of these mixers need to sit there and just make it run and be able to walk away from it. Don't even worry about trying to make money on it. Just make something awesome. Because what you're going to do is going to sit there and it's going to piss off a lot of governmental agencies if you can make it run without any CEO in the middle of this being essential breaching point. Like this guy at Larry Harmon, who is, being arrested now, brought up on crimes that, he's looking at sitting there spending, 30 years in prison for making this now. But they're not sitting here really saying it's going to be illegal for... I just don't see how they're going to be able to enforce this on people. Especially since they cannot distinguish mining wallet addresses. So if you get a mining wallet address that's sitting there spitting out coins like this, I'm sorry, but you're not going to stop this. And it's just going to need somebody to, like I'm saying, make it the right way, where they're not involved once the code goes live, like a light switch. Bink, you can't turn it off. Just like Bitcoin, Bitcoin's lights turned on, it ain't turning off anymore. So hopefully this guy doesn't get slammed too hard, because the government likes to sit there and make examples of people, and they're probably making an example out of this guy to scare everybody off from using it. But like I said, I don't see how they're going to sit there and enforce anything saying, of any sort of going, this is illegal and we're going to come after you. It's like, how can you tell whose wallet address is whose? I mean, there's a lot of structure and data that they're going to have to. Yeah, I don't see them really being able to do this quite yet. Maybe at some point in the future, somebody will be able to track every wallet address, but even now, you would have to know that it's a mixture, and then be looking at the thousands of wallets that are being generated out of it, and be able to tell that the one that just got generated for you came from them. It's kind of laughable. So that's just my 2 Satoshis on that subject. So if you guys got any questions or comments or anything like that, certainly drop them in down below. I'd love to continue any of these conversations with any of you guys at any point in time. Even if you want to jump into the Discords, links are always down below, and we can always sit there and engage into any one of these topics at any time. So with that, guys, while you're down there, smash that Lizzie like button, subscribe if you haven't, hit the bell notification, and share this video with one other person. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.